Hey there and welcome back to XCOM. My name is Pete and today we finally complete the long-awaited alien base raid mission. This could be a rather lengthy episode. I have about 2.5 hours of footage for this one, but as always I will edit it down to keep the action flowing at a nice fast pace. Now, in the last episode we completed another brief abduction mission in Australia, and while we did run into 2 cyberdisks and a group of floaters all at once, the mission was completed in quick fashion thanks to a few well-placed rockets. We also used some of our cash to level up all of the remaining rookies in our squad. However, today they will definitely not see any action, because for this mission we want to field only the strongest of our soldiers. So with that being said, let us jump right into things. We don't have to do any scanning to actually activate this mission. As you know, it is available in the mission control screen for quite a while now, and we can see here that the alien base is somewhere in Northern Europe, so let's assemble our squad and go on the offensive. And our lineup here will not change from any of the previous missions, and very importantly, despite the difficulty of this mission, we want to keep the arc thrower on Adam as well, because this mission presents us with an excellent opportunity to capture a unique type of alien. I will not spoil anything at this point though. Let's head out and see what the alien base looks like.
God only knows what they're doing to these people. All the more reason to blow them to hell. Get moving.
So far, we don't have visual confirmation on the hostiles. I wouldn't get too comfortable, though. We're expecting heavy resistance. They're probably moving into position as we speak.
Alright, we have made it, and for the first time in this series, we are the attackers. There are actually 2 different layouts for the alien base map, and the game chooses one randomly. However, I personally find them both equally challenging, so in my opinion it does not matter too much which one you end up with. Now, as you can see here, we have 2 slightly elevated walkways to the left and right, both of them leading in the same direction, and that is also where we eventually want to go. But we also have a smaller side area over to the left in the shadows, so just to be sure that we don't have any enemies shooting us in the back from there, let's start heading over there and make our first move with Shoji.
Orders understood.
Well, it looks like we found where they've been taking the abductees. But that still doesn't explain what the purpose of all this is.
Alright, we get a better view of these alien stasis tanks where the alien keep their prisoners, but don't get your hopes up, we can't actually interact with them and free anyone. So instead, let's keep moving here with Emilia, who should also get a better view of the area to the left. And even though she does not uncover the entirety of that area, it seems like we don't have any hostiles over there. So let's move up the rest of our squad here, get everyone into at least half cover, which should put us in a good position to move through the door ahead of us in one of the next turns. With those who can, we can also activate a few overwatches, and then we can wait for the aliens to complete their first turn. And we do in fact have movement here immediately as a group of Chrysalids approaches. Now, at this point in the game, Chrysalids are a rather convenient enemy in my opinion. Our squad should easily be able to take them all out before they're up again, and without any ranged abilities they usually put themselves right up in the line of fire. Now, our reaction shots here did do a decent amount of damage, but they did not get us any kills, and at least for the moment we have also lost sight of the enemies, but that can easily be corrected if we move up Adam here. This also puts him in a position where he has guaranteed hits against all 3 enemies, but let's make the most of his rather high damage output and take care of the enemy with the 4 health bar. Alright, 1 down, 2 remain. Number 2 here can then be taken care of by Nicholas. Alright, and that leaves only 1 enemy with only 1 hit point. And for this one we can switch Emilia back over to her regular old-fashioned pistol, because even with that weapon she is able to get the guaranteed kill. And that would be the first group of hostiles eliminated, so let's move the rest of our squad a bit closer to the door, go on Overwatch with those who still can, and then see what the aliens come up with. Alright. Alright, nothing so far, so we can now make use of Adam's cloaking ability and get him into full cover next to the door, while the rest of the team once again moves into slightly better breaching positions. At the end of the turn then we can reload with Shoji and put everyone else on Overwatch, and that should prepare us for the next turn. The aliens once again don't make a move, at least not one that we take notice of, so I would say let's open that door and see what lies beyond.
I don't think we are alone out here.
Alright, we hear a noise coming from ahead and to the right, so we might have some hostiles over there, so let's carefully scout ahead here with Adam. Okay, now somewhat to my relief that doesn't actually reveal anything, which allows us to spend one more turn preparing. And we'll do that by moving Chrysalids over to the corner here, from which we should be able to activate squad sight if there are indeed enemies on that right side in the shadows. I'll admit I'm not 100% sure if this works, but I hope it does. The rest of our squad will then also move up but stay behind Adam, that way we can be sure not to activate any hostiles. Another round of Overwatches then completes our turn and we can see if the aliens are making any moves. That is not the case, however, and that means that Adam is undetected, so if we dash into full cover here, he can go there unnoticed. And it's a good thing he does, because we do in fact have 2 drones in this area. On this map, the drones actually do appear on their own and not in the company of a cyberdisk, although if I'm not mistaken, a cyberdisk appearance is also possible. Right here though, we only have 2 drones on their own, and as I had hoped, Chrysalids is actually able to get a squad side shot off, so let's go for the headshot here and see if we can't cut the numbers in half.
Dead and gone. Time to kick this sucker off.
Alright, drone number 1 down, that leaves only its companion, but because Adam is in hiding and the rest of our squad is out of range, that drone can't actually see anyone yet. And we'll actually keep it that way for the rest of the turn. The rest of our squad can stay right where they are and go on Overwatch, which might allow us to get the kill off of a reaction shot, or simply by revealing Adam, who is already pretty damn close. Okay, and the drone makes 2 moves but doesn't actually catch sight of anyone, so we can now move Adam in for the kill. And that clears out this area as well. Once again, we now have 2 doors ahead of us, and simply because it's closer, we will stick to the one on the left, so let us once again get everyone into position. And once again, the alien turn goes by, we hear some noises but don't see anyone. But since we are in no rush here, we can spend one more turn preparing, reloading and overwatching. Who knows what lies beyond the energy field in front of us.
Locked and loaded.
Good to go.
I'm ready.
There's something out there.
And again, another turn goes by without any hostile interruptions, so let's deactivate the energy field and see what we can find. Okay, and once again the area looks to be clear, and once again it also offers a lot of full cover, so let us once again take a stealthy closer look with Mr. Work.
Got it covered.
Okay, so the first move doesn't reveal anything here, let's use another one, but interestingly enough, on that one he also doesn't spot anything. We do, however, have a power source ahead of us and we want to avoid damaging that if possible, and we can also already catch a glimpse of a slightly lowered area also ahead of us. For the moment though, all we can do really is to once again move the rest of our squad up to Adam's position, so that we can then continue to scout with him on the next turn. And again, we hear the sounds of numerous types of enemies here, but as long as we don't see anyone, we can't act, so let's stealth up ahead. Okay, and that finally reveals something, and for that matter, something that we have not met before. Now, this right here is a Mechtoid, basically a Sectoid's version of a mech trooper. It is accompanied by 2 regular Sectoids, while a third one is inside of that robotic suit of armor, a suit that grants it a big chunk of 24 hit points, as well as access to not 1 but 2 plasma cannons, allowing it to potentially fire twice in one turn. Just like mech troopers, Mechtoids were added into the game with the Enemy Within expansion, by the way, so if you're only playing the base game, you will not meet this type of enemy. We, however, have run into one, and I don't think I have to mention that it is a high priority target for us. However, unfortunately, this group is not the only one we have discovered. Over on the left side here, we also have a group of Mutons, and activating both groups at the same time here could potentially be disastrous, so we want to do things very carefully here and use the fact that they have not noticed us yet to our advantage. Now, after moving up Chrysalids here, we will follow suit with Andrea, because as you can see here, the rocks ahead of us that we can't see through, those can actually be shot through, at least with a rocket.
That's affirmative.
With everyone in position, we will then activate overwatches on everyone except for Adam, because if he fires just a single premature shot and reveals himself, that could once again have catastrophic consequences. Both enemy groups remain stationary though and don't move, and that works for us because now we can activate the Mutons on the left side with a rocket from Andrea. Keep in mind though that despite being shot at, they can't actually see any of our soldiers.
Going hot. Enemies in sight.
Alright, here we go. 2 Mutons go into hiding, but one of them comes a bit closer, and with only 4 hit points, this one is a prime target for Sniper Chrysalids Wargal. So, 1 down, 2 more to go, and we'll play the patient game here. There is no need to rush anything with an already injured group of enemies against us, so let's play it safe with another round of overwatches. Okay, now Muton number 1 here does the same and also goes on Overwatch, but Muton number 2 seems to be a bit more curious and eventually ends up in the exact same spot where his partner was killed on the last turn. And well, since he's here already, we might as well give him the same fate. And that is, once again, all we do on this turn. It seems like the Mechtoid on the other side won't move anytime soon, so we can simply sit here and wait until Muton number 3 comes into range. And after a brief stint in that fateful spot, Muton number 3 then decides to go for full cover instead. It doesn't trigger any reaction shots along the way, but despite the full cover, Chrysalids is still able to land a guaranteed hit here, so let's go with that option one last time. Wonderful, that's all 3 Mutons down, and now we can slowly shift our focus on the Mechtoid and its 2 companions. And since Adam at the front lines can only barely see this group, we can in fact safely move our squad up a few tiles. This was not possible earlier because of the Mutons, but now that they're gone, we have a bit more space. At this point, Adam can also be included in the round of overwatches at the end of our turn. The Mechtoid likely won't move anyway, and even if it does, most of our squad is already in the position where I want them to be. Unsurprisingly though, another turn goes by without any action, and to begin our next one we can make some room for Chrysalids in the corner here, because from here he does in fact have the ability to fire a squad side shot. And that is of course very important for the ambush I have planned. That one will have to wait for another turn though, because first of all Chrysalids will have to reload. So here we are now, and we will once again start things off with a rocket from Andrea. However, we will use a shredder rocket this time, and with the damage bonuses it causes for the rest of our squad, I think it's actually the better choice against the Mechtoid.
Look who's here.
So the Mechtoid is active and goes on Overwatch, and that is the usual behavior. Additionally though, Adam also loses his line of sight, but that isn't really a problem. He can simply regain that by moving up a few tiles, which coincidentally also burns through the Mechtoid's Overwatch. So now we have visibility, and that means we have a squad side shot available. So let's go for the headshot with Chrysalids. That hits, but not for a critical, so we only do 6 points of damage here. Thanks to double tap though, we can now fire again. Alright, 9 points of damage, that brings the enemy down to only 3 hit points. Let's bring up Shoji and see if he can finish the job.
Not a problem anymore.
Okay, and that was our first encounter with a mech trooper, but thanks to Adam's mimetic skin, we definitely had the upper hand here. We will now finish our turn by putting everyone into overwatching positions, and then we can start exploring the area in front of us. Alright, so no hostile movements, and that means it is once again time for Adam to start exploring.
What could they possibly be storing in those tanks?
Okay, and once again he discovers not 1 but 2 groups of enemies, 3 Chrysalids and 3 floaters. Nothing that we can't handle, the Chrysalids should be taken out first, but Dr. Valen also mentioned these blue-colored tanks in front of us, and her doing so is once again a good indicator that we don't want to destroy too many of them. For now though, we will once again set up Chrysalids in squad side range, while the rest of our squad once again keeps their eyes peeled. And with that, I think it's time, let's take a shot at the enemy in the back. Alright, 7 points of damage, and that activates the group. They do come a lot closer, but they also stay very closely together, and we can use that with Shoji's suppression ability here, which does have a bit of an area of effect to it, so a single shot will do 2 points of guaranteed damage to all 3 enemies.
I'm out of rounds.
That kills 1 and leaves the other 2 Chrysalids injured, and since we do have another shot here with Mr. Wargal, let's see if he can go for kill number 2. Alright, this time he does get the critical and takes the enemy out, and for number 3 we can now reveal Adam, who conveniently enough cannot be spotted by the floaters in his current position.
Dead and gone.
Alright, another group down, and I think this is going to be how we approach the majority of fights in this mission. Scout ahead with Adam, take squad side shots with Chrysalids whenever we can, and then clean things up with the rest of our squad. Our focus is now shifted on the 3 floaters, and because they are still pretty far away, we can afford to move a few of our soldiers up a bit. The enemies then once again don't move, so we can sneak a bit closer with Adam, while Shoji moves into Adam's old spot and we can take care of a few reloads and overwatches.
Rock and roll. I'm ready. Reloading.
And now we're ready for some action, and no surprise here, we will once again use squad side to our advantage. Chrysalids has a guaranteed critical hit here, so let's make that shot count.
I've got a vision.
And there we are, floater 1 is down, the other 2 have now spread out a bit, but we do have another shot with our sniper, and since one of the 2 floaters is a bit far away, let's go and see what Mr. Wargal can do on attempt number 2. Okay, unfortunately he does not get the kill, but Shoji can now take care of that. His suppression ability is guaranteed to hit and guaranteed to do 2 points of damage. And that leaves only 1 enemy standing in half cover, although that half cover won't be standing for long as we continue things with collateral damage from Nicholas.
Targeting that position.
The floater is now damaged and flanked, so we don't have to move a single tile to go for the kill with Adam here.
Bye-bye.
And that's another group down, let's finish the turn with another round of overwatches. And again, no alien movement, so we can continue scouting. And also again, it doesn't take long until we run into the next group of enemies. It is another nest of Chrysalids, which should not give us too much trouble. We will take our time here though and spend this turn taking care of a few reloads. There is always the risk of another group of enemies appearing, although admittedly apart from that first group of Chrysalids, all other groups did not move one bit.
Let's rock. Back in.
And that is the case for this one here as well, so we can once again jump into combat with a squad side shot from Chrysalids. And once again, it doesn't get the kill, but it does get us the Chrysalids' attention. Somewhat unfortunately though, 2 of them remain on that upper walkway on the left side, so it might not be that easy for us to take them out. Thanks to double tap, however, we do have one more shot with our sniper here, so let's make that one count. Okay, a critical gets us the first kill, now it's time to take care of the other 2. We'll start things off with the injured one, and here we'll use Emilia's range of movement to get up close and into killing range.
Out of the game.
Looking at it now, while I'm editing, we probably should have taken the shot at the full health enemy with her. That way we could have gotten the double kill with another round of suppression from Shoji. Instead, Shoji takes a regular shot and hits for 6 points of damage, and we can now send in our mech trooper to hopefully finish the fight. So, enemies down, time to continue our scouting game with Adam. And the next group of enemies is right ahead of us, once again showcasing how extremely vital Mimetic skin is to our success in this mission so far, even if we only run into 2 drones right here. We'll leave those 2 be for the rest of the turn though, move up with Andrea and then go on Overwatch. And we will in fact spend one more turn here getting everyone into position. Again, it doesn't look like our enemies really want to move anytime soon, so we have all the time in the world to set up a nice ambush.
Ready to engage hostile.
The only one who will stay right where he is Resilius. The powers of squad side make him dangerous even from afar.
I am reloading.
Speaking of which, after another uneventful alien turn, we can start things off with our sniper again. Let's see how much damage he can do.
X-rays spotted.
Okay, that takes one drone down and the other one has moved somewhere out of Adam's line of sight, but that is actually quite convenient for us because it allows Adam to cloak again, as he now gets up close and personal. And here we are, drone discovered. Unfortunately though, the temporary break in the line of sight has also disabled Resilius' double tap, so even though he can now see the enemy again, he can't take another shot. Before we do anything risky with the rest of our soldiers though, let's simply put them all on Overwatch and then take another shot on the next turn. And the drone plays it smart here, no reaction shots, no close combat specialist from Adam. Looks like it will in fact be Resilius who will take the next shot here.
Kill confirmed.
And there we are, 7 points of damage, that is enough for the kill. Our next objective is now to go through that door ahead of us, so let's get our squad moving. And we're skipping ahead a bit here because it took me a total of 3 turns to finally have Resilius catch up with the rest of the squad. Now though everyone is in position, Mr. Wargal can reload and everyone else can go on Overwatch for one more turn. As expected then, the aliens don't make a move, so let's open the door and see what lies beyond. Okay, just an empty corridor leading to another door, so let's get everyone into a breaching position one more time.
You hear that?
Now at least we hear something, so the next encounter shouldn't be far off. Maybe it's even waiting right behind the energy field. Well, that doesn't seem to be the case, although visibility is severely limited, so let's do what we always do and use the full cover to our advantage.
Will do.
Adam does not catch anything of interest, but we do have an elevated platform ahead of us that we might be able to use. For now though, we can have the rest of the squad catch up and go on Overwatch. No activity yet, and the next bit of full cover is a full dash away, so let's move Adam over there and see what he finds. Okay, looks like we have found the next two groups of hostiles, and among them is in fact a second Mechtoid. Needless to say, the Chrysalids will be the group to take out first. We definitely do not want them to get in the way later in the mission. And we will get things started right here and now, because I fear that if we move just a few tiles further, the enemies will spot us anyway, and by taking a shot with Chrysalids here, we can at least lure the Chrysalids in a bit closer.
Got something over here.
Needless to say, using the headshot ability also eliminates one of them entirely already, so now we have only two left, and let's see what Emilia can do about that. Moving her up thankfully does not trigger the Mechtoid yet, but it gives us a guaranteed hit against whichever Chrysalid we choose. That is not enough to get the kill, but we also have quite a few moves left on this turn. Up next, for example, we have Heavy Andrea Cook. Her shot finds the target as well, but also doesn't get the kill. Now, however, it's only a matter of time, and we can in fact get ourselves a guaranteed kill here with Nicholas if we once again use his collateral damage ability. And that leaves the last Chrysalid here with only a single hit point, and that one is now a job for Shoji, who is also close enough to land a guaranteed kill. And there we are, that's our turn. Now the aliens are up, and the group around the Mechtoid is indeed a mobile one. They are moving around the base and unfortunately right in our direction, which causes them to discover our troops and activates this group. Thankfully though, just like last time, the Mechtoid immediately goes on Overwatch, while the two Sectoids scatter out of range but likely into full cover behind it. And in my opinion, this calls for some explosives, more specifically for a hard-hitting rocket from Heavy Shoji Jang.
Stand clear.
And that shot does what it's supposed to, the two Sectoids are down and the Mechtoid loses 8 hit points. Now up next we'll activate Run and Gun with Adam here, not because we're going to dash, but because it gives us bonus critical hit damage, and then we're going to move in up close and personal. The Mechtoid wastes its Overwatch, and we can now take 2 high percentage shots. Sadly though, none of them is a critical hit, but they still do a decent amount of damage, and with only 4 hit points left on the Mechtoid, let us now move in our support Emilia. And her 5 points of damage are enough to get us the second Mechtoid kill of the mission, and unless we have any other enemies sneaking around here, we are in fact very close to the end of the mission. Our objective lies a little bit ahead of us, you can already see its outlines in the shadows here, but before we blindly rush towards it, let's regroup and reload.
Reload complete. I'm ready.
Locked and loaded.
And then, on the next turn, it is once again Adam's job to scout ahead and see what we're dealing with.
Orders confirmed. Moving out.
That alien is clearly different from the others. It's wielding a power unlike anything we've previously encountered.
So here we are with another brand new type of alien, looking like a regular sectoid, but the increased hit points reveal that we're dealing with something more advanced. And this enemy is why we brought the Arc Thrower along on this mission, because this right here is likely one of the few times where we can encounter one on its own in this game. Now, we also don't want to overlook that glowing thing behind it. That one is of course also very important, but it cannot be destroyed as it is an important plot device, so we don't have to be too careful around it. Now, the rest of our squad is still pretty far away, so we will spend one more turn getting them a bit closer, and that is in fact very important if we want to have a chance of activating and capturing the alien in one and the same turn.
Going for elevation.
Now, our opponent does not move on its turn, just like pretty much every other alien we have encountered so far, so let's also get things started in the usual way. However, we will make sure not to use the headshot ability for this, as it could potentially result in an instant kill.
X-rays spotted.
So, just a regular shot that finds its target though and does 7 points of damage. The alien moves and is now left with 7, and that is absolutely fantastic, because it allows Andrea to reliably get it down to one single hit point with another rocket.
Pleasure.
And this is in fact the best possible situation to find ourselves in at this point in the mission. Let's see if we can top things off with a successful capture.
Aye, attempt to capture. Target disabled.
Feels like we're finally turning the tide. Now that we've captured their device, the aliens are running out of secrets.
It's imperative that we begin the research as soon as possible.
Now that we've captured this device, we should probably be expecting the aliens to pursue us more aggressively. I doubt losing it was part of their plan.
And there we are, Dr. Shen has already mentioned it, we have also captured the alien device. In just a moment we will learn what this Hyperwave Beacon actually is. For now we have already unlocked the achievement related to it, and so I would say after a good 30 minutes of action here, let us finally return to the base.
Central, this is Big Sky. The rubber's on the road and the kids are in the back seat. Over.
Roger that, Voodoo 3-1. See you inside. Central out. Something wrong, Doctor?
Don't you think a victory celebration is a bit premature at this juncture?
We just neutralized their central command. We've got no other alerts on the entire system, and we took out their leader. In my book, that's a win, Doctor.
Commander, I'm glad to see that I'm not the only one who understands this war isn't over yet. The existence of this artifact, which we believe to be a communication device of some kind, begs the question. If the Sectoid Commander was the alien leader, then who or what was it communicating with? I believe this is indeed the same creature we encountered when we made first contact with the aliens. As we have observed, it is somehow capable of using its mind as a weapon. If we were to study this specimen's brain tissue, perhaps we might be able to adapt this ability for our own purposes.
Okay, so recovering the Hyperwave Beacon also unlocks a research project associated with it, but we'll take a closer look at that later in the game. For now, we can see some good news. Mech Trooper Nicholas Mahoney has finally made it up to the highest rank of Colonel, so let's also give him his final ability. The first option here would be Absorption Fields, an ability that is actually quite useful in the early game, as it puts a hard cap on the amount of damage a Mech Trooper can take. However, since that amount is tied to the Mech Trooper's maximum health, you can probably see how it's of diminishing value the more we progress in the game, because Nicholas's maximum health will of course continue to increase, and so will therefore also the damage threshold. And that is why we're going for the more offensive-minded ability here in Reactive Targeting Sensors, which gives Nicholas a free reaction shot against the first enemy who attacks him on each turn. In essence, this is a reaction shot that is not tied to movement, and we do from time to time use Nicholas here to draw enemies' fire, so he will occasionally find himself in a situation where he can use this ability.
Your men certainly seem to have a knack for capturing alien subjects alive. I only hope they realize how important their work is in relation to ours. Please pass on my gratitude to our forces.
Now, as you can see here, we have also recovered quite a few things from this mission. Most prominently, of course, the Hyperwave Beacon, which has unlocked the Hyperwave Communication Research Project, but that captured alien, which was in fact a Sectoid Commander, can now be interrogated, and since we ran into and killed a few Mechtoids, we can now autopsy them as well. Additionally, we also recover our very first alien grenade, and that is going to be extremely useful very soon. And not only that, the mission also results in a sizable haul of Illyrium, alien alloys, weapon fragments, and melt. The alien entertainment, alien food, and alien stasis tank are then all objects that can be sold freely because they cannot be researched, so in this sense we're also earning quite a bit of hard cash from this mission. That is still not all, however, because as you can see here, we have also received a worldwide 1-point panic reduction, meaning that just a few days before the end of June, not a single country has reached maximum panic levels, and we have achieved all of that without launching a single satellite this month.
Remember, we will be watching.
Now, at this point, we of course have quite a few things on our to-do list. We will have to complete an interrogation and 2 autopsies. There are also 1 or 2 foundry projects that we want to get working on immediately. And then let's also not forget that the next council report is just a few days away. I would say though, let's take care of all that in the next episode. For today, I would say we have reached a good point to wrap up a rather action-packed video. And if you have enjoyed it as well, then I would of course be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. And as always, if you want to support me and my channel further, then you can of course do so either by subscribing to stay up to date or by supporting me over on Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.